YouTube, what's up everybody? Welcome to the one working cast of the day. I'm Gecko Gaming, and today we have one of the most anticipated matches I think of the day. We're looking at one of the favorite teams in this whole game really, White Tigers, going up against one of the most underrated teams in this whole Osiris League, the Overlords OV. And boy oh boy, you guys definitely, more than certainly, think they are a little bit underrated, or at least underappreciated, I guess. Look at that insane amount of betting on the White Tigers. All of you in the community think White Tigers seem to be the ones that are going to win today, a big majority of you at least. Folks in the chat, I see you all. How's everybody doing? Let me know in the comments right now who you got your Oryx on. Who do you think will win this match? We got the folks of White Tigers going hard against OV, and this is an elimination round. Whoever gets out of here goes to the semifinals, round of 4, final 4. Whoever loses is gonzo. In case you guys don't know which team is which and who they are and where they come from, give you a quick background about both of these alliances when it comes to Osiris League. First and foremost, we have none others than the White Tigers. 3 billion power. 3 billion power in total, and potentially either growing or going down. Remember that as Lost Kingdom happened and Lost Kingdom went by, this was throughout while these guys registered. Lost Kingdom happened, things changed. So we're looking at White Tigers with 3 billion power, but not necessarily with all that firepower in, or potentially with even more, as some of these folks trained more troops, got better equipment, unlocked commanders, maxed them out, changed the strategy, changed their pairings. And the White Tigers we saw coming into this tournament are completely different from the ones who are here today, as they got a chance to improve through the 3 months period we've had, 2.5 months really, that gone through of Osiris League. How crazy is it that we've been doing this for almost 2 months now? How, 2 months, 2.5, something like that? What a crazy thing. I am riding solo today, Poon. Unfortunately, both my co-casters have Osiris matches. One is an Ark of Osiris, and the other one right in here going for the potential Final Four. Dragothian joining us in the chat. He has his first Ark of Osiris with his brand new kingdom in 1225. So good luck to you, my friend. I really hope you guys kick butt, and I'll be solo YOLOing it today. We're going to focus a little bit more on the basics of Ark of Osiris as I'm casting alone. We're going to go through really the basic things you need to know, and we're going to advance through our knowledge in the game, through the match, about what is Ark of Osiris. On top of that, we talked about White Tigers a little bit. We should talk about the Overlords, because men, oh men, the Overlords have been a very, very, very dark horse. I mean, nobody really gave them, pretty much in any one of their matches, a lot of chances, especially when we're talking about the crowd favorites. We're talking about bets. We're talking about who placed where, their wages. Overlords have overcome big, big alliances. We're talking the likes of Legends Gaming 1 got knocked out by the OV crew last week. That was a very exciting match for us to watch. And really, these guys have been cruising through. Their matches haven't been the easiest of matches. It's not that if you look at the score, you'll say this is an alliance that has been destroying in every single one of their matches. But the score doesn't give justice to the fact that they are here today, and they're going to give White Tigers a run for their money. I don't really know to tell you too much about differences between these two alliances, with the exception that I believe Overlords do have a Wuzetian or a couple of them available in their lineup, while the White Tigers have not had the opportunity to unlock Wuzetian. That's a very important difference for you guys to remember. So we are going to probably see a slight commander advantage when it comes to holding on to buildings to the folks of OV. But hey, this is by any stretch of the imagination not a decisive factor. The White Tigers have some of the best, most knowledgeable players in the game, including the likes of King of Armenia, King Talib himself, and of course, one of our co-casters, Chiskel Gaming, leading this strategy out there for the Tigers. And on top of that, a bunch of other folks, Raygal and co. So many very known names in the community. We are about 3 minutes away from the match. A few final thoughts for you guys, for us to keep in mind. First and foremost, we're going to talk, as I mentioned, from the beginning of the match to the end about mechanics, about the basics of the Ark of Osiris in general, as well as strategy, tips, and tricks along the way. We're going to talk about the match as it happens, and remember that we have some visual bugs, so some of these buildings might not blink and we might miss their exchange, but I'm definitely going to keep my eye peeled, as because I am the only eye looking at things, we might miss a couple of things here and there, but hey, there's a lot of action that's going to happen, and I really don't know who I think is going to win. I am truthfully in disbelief that we got to a point where, at this point in time, I have a lot of faith in my friends at White Tigers, but Overlords have completely baffled me, my lack of knowledge of them, and they've showed me, as well as you guys in the community, they're no joke, and they're here to stay, and they're looking to clutch a place in the Final Four. Reminding you, the 3 other alliances already locked into that Final Four are NB2 from Kingdom 103, 1NB8 also from Kingdom 103, and JWM, my home alliance, from Kingdom 59. And we are looking to see who will join us from either White Tigers or the Overlords. We are about 2 minutes away, hoping that everything works out and we can get this cast going. One of the things that we're going to keep our eye on is which commanders are defending buildings. As a reminder, we have seen a little bit of a shift in the mechanic in Ark of Osiris. It could be a bug, it could be an exploit fix. We're not entirely sure yet what it is. But the way you change the captains inside structures has changed since last week. Some folks have been having some trouble changing the captains, holding on to buildings. It requires a little more attention. And so we're going to keep an eye out to see which alliance adopts to the circumstances and makes sure to adapt those captains to ensure that the best commanders are available onto those defensive situations. However, if we do notice some unlikely commanders being the captains, the most likely situation is that this is what happened, as this is the top tier, ladies and gentlemen. These guys don't mess around. These guys have all the commanders, all the defenses, and everything lined up. So a small mistake like that, unfortunately, at this stage and at this time, is strictly because of changes in the mechanism of captaining inside a building, rather than necessarily a mistake. It is an unfortunate situation to happen mid tournament, sure, but what can we do, right? We got to adapt, evolve, and make this work. A quick final thought, 20 seconds remaining. I hope we see a very close matchup. I hope that you guys get all the Oryx you're looking for. Remember, there are 3 matches remaining in this tournament, and you guys got to get your Oryx. If you're looking at maxing out the store, with the exception of the epic sculptures, which I have already gotten past that level, you need 33,000 total Oryx. And if you're looking to buy the whole thing out, 40-ish thousand Oryx should get you there. 3 more matches in this one, 4 matches including this one, to bet and get your Oryx. So get your bets in. Hope for the best that you guys get this win and get your rewards. Let's go take a quick peek if we can watch this match happening. And as we go in, I need to swap to the other view. You guys might hear a little bit of silence for a moment. Don't panic. I'll be back in a moment. So let's go to the battlefield. And I can't tell Dragothian he's waiting for me there, because he isn't. So give me a second as I run out that way. All right, well, that took a little less time than I expected. Kind of still have to do some optimizations to ensure that you guys get the best sound and the best everything possible. So far, we're about 1 minute and 40 some seconds remaining in the match. Let's talk a little bit about Ark of Osiris very briefly. Ark of Osiris is a point per minute based game. The idea behind it is you have all these different buildings on the map. two teams of 30 competing to see who has the most points at the end of 60 minutes of regulation. Each one of these buildings is mostly, there are, well, 4 types of unique buildings: shrines, outposts, obelisks, and altars, and each has its own different amount of point per minute, as well as first occupation bonuses. The way this works is within a minute, the gates of hell will open up, and both sides will get out of this corral of initial area and march out into the field, attempting to occupy the first layer of buildings, which are the obelisks and outposts. From there, they're going to have to wait 3 long minutes until those buildings lock in their favor. When that happens, the points per minute are going to start rolling in favor of either team, and the obelisks will allow individuals to teleport to the outer area outside the initial corral all the way to the battlefield. At the 52nd minute, the Sky Altar, Desert Altar, Shrine of Life, and Shrine of War will open up, and those unique buildings have their own strengths. The Shrine of Life is a building that gives you 25% extra healing speed. Shrine of War gives you 5% attack and defense, troop attack and defense. And the altars, the most important buildings on the map, are 150 points per minute total. That's what they do. The 4 buildings alone are 600 points on the map. That has an equivalent of 1,180 points total. It seems that the folks of OV came in with 3 substitutions and White Tigers with 2, and they are still missing 2 people, 1 more individual to come in to make this a 30 versus 30. So far, a slightly better start for the folks of White Tigers, but OV showing up with 30 strong, 3 substitutions, and from what I saw, there should be at least 4 substitutions, if not more, that I missed for the folks of White Tigers. Not the ideal start, but this has never stopped them from trying harder and from winning matches even against the odds. Remind you, the last match, these guys actually won the match in a very close call, and they were 5 or 6 members down for the longest time. So it's important to remember that. As the troops pour out, we're seeing them heading towards the initial buildings that are able to occupy. And the standard thing in Ark of Osiris nowadays, in Osiris League in general, are 4 rallies on both sides aiming at all obelisks. Why do people do that? Ideally, if you're someone like JWM, you're trying to snack a obelisk away from the opposition snatch one really quickly in the beginning and make them pay. Some folks, however, who don't go all the way to the obelisks, decide to break the rally on the way there to position troops on the field closer to the desert and Sky Altar. We will most likely be seeing that, as 1 rally has already been canceled by the folks of Overlords, and it seems to have either hit its destination or it bailed altogether. Another very common tactic you see right here are tier 1 marches across the map, trying to pick up these buildings as quickly as possible. Like we mentioned, we have 3 long minutes of occupation time before these buildings lock in the favor of either side. And so having these buildings as quickly as possible means you're going to start ticking for points quicker. White Tigers in the lead currently in the buildings game, as they own 3 of their buildings, an obelisk and 2 outposts, and Overlords instantly closing that gap. Rhaegal right there marching back with his tier 1 march, leaving the obelisk, which should be getting, hopefully, some reinforcements very, very soon. Ladies and gentlemen, I am still keeping a track on the chat, so if you guys have any questions, any comments, anything, you're more than welcome to ask them, and we will keep an eye on the chat as much as possible. And there goes our co-caster, one of the co-casters and one of the biggest content creators in Rise of Kingdoms, Chiskel Gaming, aiming forward towards the Sky Altar that is on the blue side. One thing important noticing is that the map is a mirrored map. As you can see right here, there is this line right there, and both sides of the map are equal sides, except they are upside down. So this is the mirror right there. You have a line, and so the idea is the buildings that are closer to your side, such as the Sky Altar, this Sky Altar for the blue team, or this Desert Altar for the red team, usually are easier to defend, as the march time away from their obelisks is much, much smaller compared to marching all the way to the other side of the enemy. So you should be expecting more presence right out here on the Sky Altar by the blue team and on the Desert Altar by the red team. It looks like, just like we predicted, marches are canceling out. Maybe one of these rallies will try to hit something. We're seeing this rally going successfully to the obelisk to defend it. What else we have here? Another march making its way to the top obelisk by OV. And this march is trying to get there. It has not broken yet. OV are ready with a lot of open field presence, but are they ready to defend their obelisk, which requires a full minute still of occupation before they can teleport out here? Looks like the White Tigers rally cancels just right here, just a few moments from getting into this area of the obelisk, ideally to posture either towards the Shrine of War or maybe towards the Sky Altar that belongs to OV. Now OV, the overlords, have one trooper in here ready to pick up the Sky Altar, but if they don't pay attention to it, we have a White Tiger sneaking in and looking to potentially take this Sky Altar away very, very early on. We still have about 13 seconds. Let's see how this map locks in as the blue team is really posturing towards the Sky Altar that is supposedly supposed to go to the red team as it's the closer side, but they still are posturing. The blue guys are posturing forward. White Tigers, the first occupation of it indeed goes to OV, but the one tier 1 cannot hold back 2 full marches right here. For some reason, Zeno decides to give it up, and as soon as he hits it, he's going to get rid of that march, fill up the Sky Altar, and trouble brews in Overlord's camp already. Their Sky Altar is down, and now they're going to have to figure out how to quickly capture it before it is too late. White Tigers with three total altars to start off the match. The thing about this match, and as you see, Bunny already randomly appears here. There's a little bit of visual bugs all over the place. The most important thing about these first occupations is to successfully lock them in your favor early on. As a reward for being the first alliance to successfully lock in a building in your favor, you will get an astounding 750 points when it comes to the altars. When it comes to the altars, and the shrines will give you 400 points total. So it is key to lock in these buildings early on in your favor in order to guarantee yourself this extra 750 points as a beginning. Now, if White Tigers successfully hold on to this building for another minute and 55 seconds, we might be seeing a very, very nice White Tiger lead early on, and the folks of OV on their back foot early. Lots of blue presence up here on the Sky Altar that's looking really to fill up and defend itself. However, Overlords have teleported into the obelisk area as it has been locked in their favor, and they are pouring troops towards this Sky Altar. Right now, organizing a rally might take too long. Right now, trying to get here with the correct play, which is rally and swarm, will take too long. The guys at Overlords have to take the Sky Altar back within the next minute, or else 750 points will go in favor of White Tigers. And even if they lose the building right after, it won't be a big deal, as their first goal is to get those 750 points early on. The red swarm is in place, and Zeno is inside this building already, so he cannot have a second march in there. Hopefully for the White Tigers, they managed to pull through. I see Prinz in here and a couple of other marches really posturing forward. The problem is there are a lot of Overlords in here. Marches coming out. Prinz making the correct play right there, pulling out his weaker march and putting in a newer, fresher one. Another march making it in 30 seconds. We are going to see potentially the White Tigers take a massive lead. We're going to keep an eye on this building for now, and this could be deadly. 20 seconds remaining. This building is going down fast. There's still time. 15 seconds. Can the guys in Overlords clutch this building back? 10 seconds remaining. A rally is making its way here now. The health bar is going down drastically. 5, 4, 3, and the clutch. 3 seconds is all that White Tigers needed. Man, oh man, the guys at Overlords dodged a bullet for now. They now have to hold on to this building for a long 2 minutes and 50 seconds to manage to take those points back. As of right now, White Tigers in the lead, both in the total points and the points per minute. As we mentioned, Ark of Osiris is all about points and points per minute. How points per minute are calculated is based on the buildings being locked in on either side's favor. As you can see, the Sky Altar is still 2.5 minutes away from belonging to the red team, while the rest of these buildings do belong to them, and therefore they are giving them points per minute. Unfortunately for them, the folks in blue, White Tigers, have all of their side locked in, and they are gaining the half of the points that is on the map, 590 total points. We got some marches battling. Let's go take a quick look at the Sky Altar here, going really, really hard with the guys of Overlords who seem to have been defeated in here. Let's see if any other building is being contested. We are most likely going to see a lot of presence around these altars because these are the big point buildings. It is indeed very early in the match still. It is definitely nowhere near close to being determined by any shape or form. But just that misplay where that altar almost went in favor of White Tigers, it is a bit detrimental. 150 points per minute lead in the favor of White Tigers means 450 points for them. Thankfully for the Overlords, they managed to stop White Tigers from getting those 750 points, but that was so close. Let's go see what else we can find on the map. Ark of Osiris coming up in 2 minutes, and the Overlords have overextended. My goodness, we are looking at 5, 6, 7, 12, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 24... There's 4 in here, 28. Over 30 marches here, locking up this center 2 minutes before the Ark of Osiris comes up. The folks of White Tigers who have been focusing on this desert altar can and are coming from the back, trying to do a backstab on the red team. You can see right there some blue marches trying to sneak their way towards the Ark. However, the Overlords are not going to let that go cheap. They're definitely not going to let that go without contesting it. So as you can see, 1 minute and 20 seconds remaining, a sea of red, a wall of red on this side, and some marches making sure that the back area is secure. It looks like the Overlords have taken the Temple of Osiris at this point in time. But again, with 1 minute remaining, White Tigers still have plenty of space to reposition, especially because they took away a desert altar from the Overlords and now are again leading by 150 points. How are they leading by 150 points if this building is not locked into their favor, you ask? They are leading 150 points because they are stopping the Overlords from gaining points on a building that used to belong to them. So take a quick peek and see if the Overlords are replying with anything. There's a march going out towards the blue desert altar right here. It looks like we have a Saladin full cavalry in here with a Genghis on top of that against a Charles Martel holding the desert altar. Some presence, some blue presence around here. But this rally is doing really well, and that Charles is going to need much more support. If you don't know how to observe the match and figure out where the rallies are at, you can always click on the button here on the right and see all the marches available right now, including the 2 battling marches by the Overlords. And on the map, anywhere you see a sigil next to a march, it means that this is a rally march. That is for your information in case you're observing the match in game. Now, let's go take a quick peek at the Sky Altar that is being contested by Overlords. It is very well defended with a Richard, but that Richard is taking so much damage. It is inflicting quite a lot back for sure, but the health bar on this Sky Altar is going down quickly. 2 altars being contested by the folks of Overlords, and the Ark of Osiris is marching its way back to the Shrine of War. John Wick doing John Wick things. His full march means that he's not enjoying the Belisarius less than half size of a march buff. And so he is not walking as fast as he could. But at the moment Prince or King of Armenia start hitting him and he drops in health, that march speed should pick up. As this is going on, a desert altar goes back in favor of the Overlords, who can now continue posturing towards this Ark of Osiris, which is marching at an alarming rate. King of Armenia doing everything he can to make it there on time, but there's so much red in here. Overlords going from being behind on this match early on to now owning 3 altars. They took away that desert altar up on the top as well and have a very, very strong presence here. They also currently own the Ark of Osiris and are marching it very, very fast. You can see that John Wick march getting hit, and now that it's going below that half point mark, it is marching much faster, making things so much harder for anyone to catch up to him. This is what Ark of Osiris is all about. I love Prince's play right there. He used the open field movement to cut a little bit and not follow straight, and it allowed him to catch up to John Wick for a little bit. Rhaegal also showing up here with the plays, 2 of his marches in here, and King of Armenia is still in play to try to stop this Ark from going to the Shrine of War. Meanwhile, Overlords have such a huge presence on this side of the map that even if the guys of White Tigers wanted to try to sneak this Shrine of War away, it would probably be an impossible task with all this presence. And now, as the blue marches dwindle down, John Wick might not make it, but so won't all the rest of these Tigers. And this Ark is so close to that Shrine of War that I believe we're going to see it getting delivered by Overlords momentarily. If you guys are enjoying the cast, let me know right now in the chat, who do you guys think will win? We have a very fairly evened out match. White Tigers a little bit ahead due to their point per minute lead throughout the beginning of this match. John Wick deciding to bail on the Shrine of War, and he's going to take this Ark way, way back. He's going to try to hold on to it for a little bit longer and delay these Arks away from White Tigers. Is this a good play early on? The folks of the Overlords realized they caught White Tigers off guard on this Ark, and they realized that potentially they might be able to do it again. But White Tigers won't be fooled by the same thing twice. So to allow this Ark to get delivered right now and to allow more Arks to appear might give an opportunity for White Tigers to fix the mistake they made on this first Ark. And so holding on to an Ark and letting the time tick down is a great play if you're trying to delay Arks from spawning. But unfortunately, one way or another, this Ark will have to be delivered because the Overlords, while winning the Ark, are losing the points per minute game. And just as I say that, their Shrine of the altar right here, locks in their favor. And in a second, one more altar will lock in their favor. And we're going to look at 440 points per minute against 660, 220 points per minute in favor of the Overlords. And now they can start closing this 900 point gap down slowly and steadily. It'll take them 4.5 minutes to close the gap. And then they have 3,000 points in the bank with one John Wick march. Let's go take a quick look at what's going on around the map. White Tigers defending for dear life this Shrine of War, and a counter rally, an Ethelfled-led counter rally on this Saladin rally seems to be doing everything it can, but this Shrine of War is so weak and it's getting bombarded with solo marches, rallies, everything around. King of Armenia coming in around to get into this Shrine of War, and now it's looking a little bit healthier. If the Shrine of War falls, the White Tigers are going to be a few buffs behind. We're not talking only about troop attack, but also troop defense, 5% on each on this Shrine of War. So it is a crucial hold for the White Tigers who really want to stay ahead. A reinforcement march coming into this rally can be very, very strong and can be what the Overlords really need. We've seen very little reinforcements to rallies on this Osiris League. And so what do we got here? I'm guessing, I haven't taken a look just yet, that we're going to see a friendly Hannibal Barca in here with this Ethelfled. We see a Freddy Edward on the field, a Saladin, I'm assuming Genghis Khan in there, and so many other marches just surrounding this building. The rally might fail, and it has failed indeed, but it's going to break down the other counter rally that was there, and it's going to leave Overlords all over this area. Can the White Tigers hold on to their Shrine of War? They might not be able to hold on to the Shrine of War, but they definitely took back their desert altar. A fantastic play. And again, this Ark is just sitting here, and it's going to keep sitting here for a little bit longer, giving the folks of the overlords a little bit of breathing room. They're going to really need to figure out how they win this point per minute game, as they are once again on their back foot in the points per minute game. They closed down the gap very, very slightly, and it grew back up 900 points in favor of White Tigers 38 minutes in. What else happening on the map? Let's go take a quick peek at the rallies. We have 2 marching rallies by Overlords and a battle. Chisco Gaming going hard on the Desert Altar. His rally seems to be getting mowed down by the likes of YSG, Edward, and the very, very strong Richard holding onto the Desert Altar. This rally is not going to be too successful. There goes the rally, and sad faces back home. Desert Altar secured. What else we got going on? Let's see if the White Tigers have any other movement. Some marching rallies. All these rallies are marching right now. Let's go take a quick peek at the open field situation. Here we go with the Overlords coming in for the Sky Altar. Defenses already all over the place. King Talib, shout out, big shout out to King Talib, holding on to this Sky Altar for dear life, and he is a monster. This is not someone you want to mess with on the open field. He does not mind to go in on these rallies all over the place. Look at his freaking 2 marches right here, going ham on this rally. Sky Altar taking a beating. I'm not going to lie to you guys. The Sky Altar is really taking a beating right now. 2 solo marches on the field right here, and a rally on top of that. Another solo march coming in. King Talib sending his marches into the Sky Altar as an extra reinforcement. And hopefully we're going to see more of King Talib and Chisco Gaming coming to the rescue of this Sky Altar. The question is whether they can get here fast enough to stop that occupation, or will the folks of Overlords manage to take this building away. The Overlords had the lead for a few moments, as they did turn around a couple of these buildings. However, now that everything is locked in the favor, well, most of the buildings are locked in the favor of the White Tigers, we definitely have a lead once again. 1,100 points lead for the folks of White Tigers. Overlords doing everything they can against the Sky Altar. We're going to take a quick peek at what else we have happening on the map. The Desert Altar on the top being rallied as well. A lot of pressure by the Overlords. What are the Tigers doing? Tigers are doing the same. Look at the pressure in here. Shrine of Life taken away. And all of a sudden, points per minute flip back in favor of Overlords. This match is just back and forth in the open field. And the worst part of this is, so far, it's been so unstable that the folks of OV haven't been able to gain ground at all. That's the worst part for them, and that's a great thing for the White Tigers, who are doing everything they can to destabilize the Overlords. Remember, though, ladies and gentlemen, the Overlords have a joker up their sleeve, or an ace if you don't play with jokers. That is John Wick and this Ark of Osiris waiting for delivery. Now, I do not understand the forward position by the Overlords when it comes to the Ark. And as I say that, the Ark is delivered. Now this position makes more sense. However, the folks of OV have been holding on to the Ark for about a good 5 to 10 minutes. And all these marches just stood here rather than join rallies and buildings. And as soon as the Ark was delivered, there are 8 minutes until the delivery, until the spawn of the next Ark. With a point per minute lead, and now the total lead for the Overlords, they are looking to lock in the center once again, and they're looking to be a nuisance to the folks of White Tigers by taking away a outpost of Iset. 110 points per minute right now in the favor of Overlords. Yes, Poon, unfortunately for the Overlords, a few marches didn't do much in the last 5 to 6 minutes. They stood in the center and just held up. Those are crucial marches, just like Bronny Zocket is saying, to be potential provisioning gathering marches while that Ark is being secured. There are 7 full minutes for a presence in the center to be made, and so plenty of time Shrine of War being once again contested, and this time this rally is not going to let go easy. Counter rally coming in, again, a Hannibal Barca Ethelfled rally with a mixed set of troops from what I see it is, or maybe, yeah, it is a mixed set of troops. Spills trouble for the Shrine of War that is going down very quickly. Are the Tigers able to secure it? Yes, they are. More marches go in, more health goes up, more time for these rallies and marches to take away this rally from Overlords and secure the Shrine of War. So far, the points per minute is in favor of the Overlords. We're looking at 110 points per minute in their favor, and they're looking to take away this Desert Altar from the Tigers. If they manage to take away this Desert Altar, we're looking at 150 points less for the White Tigers, at least for 3 minutes, which will spell so much trouble as the gap between the two teams can potentially increase. But I don't even finish saying that sentence. White Tigers strike back. Massive presence on the Sky Altar that's supposed to be well defended by the Overlords. A potential misplay by them. They are looking to return the favor to the White Tigers with this Desert Altar, but White Tigers are much more attentive to their altars. And right now, it looks like this Desert Altar might be able to hold on. Let's go take a quick peek at what we see in the chat. See if any of you folks have any questions or any comments or any suggestions going in the chat. If you guys have questions, please do not shy away from any kind of question, a simple question or a complex one. We are here to help you understand this mode better, to help you enjoy this mode better. Currently, it is way too early, Fabian, to call the rest in peace on the Tigers. There are 31 minutes remaining. So much time to get so much work done. It is nowhere near done. However, they are indeed almost 2,000 points behind. An Ark of Osiris will flip this upside down. But again, this Desert Altar, so much presence by White Tigers and so much aggression by the Overlords. Can they take this Desert Altar? We're going to keep an eye on it. But Overlords are not only going after that. The Overlords are hitting the Shrine of Life and taking it successfully. They're also hitting the, I believe, oh, no, they took their shrine back. What am I missing? Here we go. The Desert Altar up on the top. This is the same one. I guess all the rallies were successful. The buildings aren't blinking on the map like they used to, so it's so hard to keep up. But look again, 440 points per minute versus the 330, 110 in the favor of Overlords. All of this map is practically waiting for occupation. We have two critical altars waiting for their timer for the folks of Overlords. And if White Tigers cannot stop this aggression, are we going to see a 4-altar hold for the first time this match by Overlords? They're not letting this Desert Altar down. White Tigers are falling back. Whatever they were targeting died off. Can they make it back in time to this Desert Altar and replace marches? One solo march goes away. A march makes it into the Desert Altar, holding on for a little longer. King Bob is on his way. Statlizer is on his way. But so much pressure by the Overlords. They are keeping White Tigers on their toes in here. And we're going to go take a look at what White Tigers are doing on the map. We have King Bob going for this Shrine of War, which seems to be very well secured right now. Shrine of War taking much less damage than it's dealing. Let's go take a look at what Chisco Gaming is doing, going for the Desert Altar that has a lot of Overlords around it. It seems that this Desert Altar is where the most intense action is right now. Keep an eye on the timer on the top left, ladies and gentlemen. In 3 minutes, an Ark of Osiris will pop up, and a lot might change then. On top of that, 2 altars and a shrine are waiting for occupation for the Overlords, which means a potential 380 points per minute extra waiting for the cooldown timer. Is this Desert Altar going to fall? Another march made it in, revived it just a little bit longer. Is the dream real for the White Tigers? Can they hold on to this insane pressure? So far, so good. If you take a quick look at the map, someone's being a little bit of a nuisance, trying to pick up outposts, trying to slow down the points per minute gain of Overlords in any shape and form. 30 points per minute out the window. That is not a bad play at all. And the swarm on this Desert Altar is so strong. How are the White Tigers holding on for this long? That Charles Martel paying dividends with his counter damage buffs right there. Another March makes it in to hold on for a little bit longer. Oh my goodness, this Desert Altar is probably the longest lasting altercation in Osiris League for a long time. This Desert Altar just won't go down. Is this the time? Are we? No, another March makes it in. With that being said, buildings being secured by the Overlords means that they are gaining on the points per minute game. But oh my goodness, they have made a potentially very big mistake. An obelisk was taken away from Overlords. At this level, it's not necessarily the worst thing to happen. There's plenty of people nearby that can potentially take this obelisk back. It is not the worst thing that could have happened. What is bad for them is that their altar went back in favor of White Tigers. Desert Altar finally falls in favor of Overlords, and White Tigers now more than ever need to step it up. 210 points per minute versus the 620. That's a 410 points per minute gain for the Overlords, who are already almost 3,000 points ahead. Shrine of War about to go down for the White Tigers. If it does, this altercation for the Ark of Osiris popping in 40 seconds. Oh no. Let the guys of White Tiger now are 5% attack and defense down. And on top of that, Overlords taking away the outpost is not the biggest of deals. The fight is happening right now in the center. But White Tigers losing that Shrine of War means less buffs from them. And Overlord, my goodness, what are you guys doing? What an amazing play. Look at this swarm of red in here. 7 seconds until the Ark of Osiris comes out. Only 4 rallies out on the field, 3 by White Tigers and 1 by the folks of Overlord. They are looking to take this Ark. They need to drop it on their side quickly. There's the Gatherer right there dropping the Ark, making sure Prince doesn't drop it on their side and gains a 15-second lead. The Ark drops on the red side. Good start, but that March is getting destroyed. John Wick is not going to wick it out this time. If you don't know the side effects of an Ark of Osiris, when you carry an Ark of Osiris, you have 2 very crucial debuffs. The first and foremost, your speed, your march speed is downed by 50%. That is right, you're 50% slower. On top of that, you take twice the damage. And so you will see quite a lot of these Ark carriers get destroyed very quickly, especially in a Cloud of Madness. The advantage of being inside a Cloud of Madness is that it is ridiculously hard to click on the march that holds the Ark. And as you can see, John Wick is able to make way. I don't know if anyone managed to click on him yet or not. I can't click on him. Does this work? No, it just sends us there. How do we click on this John Wick? The cloud keeps moving with him. And as he moves, more and more ground being gained by the Overlords. White Tigers on the map, however, take their Shrine of War back. That's a great beginning. Chiskel Gaming battling it out for the Desert Altar, but that battle is donezo. 620 points per minute against that 100 of White Tigers. The Overlords are gaining and gaining, and we are potentially about to watch one of the biggest upsets of the day. We've already had one according to the betting. I guess the betting favorites, right? It's not necessarily a, how would you call it? It's not necessarily an underdog winning here. The folks of OV might be a little underrated when it comes to the community. White Tigers are definitely the favorites. And if we see an upset according to what the favorites believe, boy, oh boy, this could be a big turnaround for the Final Four. Rhaegal is not going to let this stand. He picks up the Ark and starts marching his way back, but he is outside the cluster. It's as easy as that to click on him, and when you can click on him, you can get rid of him just like that. Now the Ark is on the ground. The folks of White Tigers pouring troops to the center. However, they are still losing the point per minute game. This is the second Ark of Osiris. It is worth 3,500 points total, which means that once the Tigers potentially return this Ark, it will bring them up to 17,700 points, and the lead will still be in the favor in the slight for the OV folks. The problem for White Tigers is that with every second that passes, the Overlords are pulling ahead with 250 points per minute against the 640. And nobody's going to let this arc go either way easily. Again, Overlords using the confusion that is the cloud of marches to make movements with the arc. I believe I clicked it. Did I click it? It's so hard to click on it, and the Overlords are really using that small exploit, I would call it, in their favor, as it is so hard to find the arc carrier inside the cluster of marches. He was found, however, and was dropped. The arc is still slightly favoring the red team. White Tigers with 3 rallies and Overlords with 3 rallies too. Statslizer going for the Sky Altar. Super well defended. That rally is going to get canceled out. Let's go take a quick peek at what the Overlords are doing. They're going for both altars and the Shrine of War. They're looking to put pressure on the White Tigers. One of the things you're going to notice potentially happening is that the more this arc marches towards red, the more blue will do everything they can to stop it. This leaves an opening just like this one for the folks in red to sneak some marches all across. This is an undefended obelisk. These are tier 1s running across the field. I think these are tier 1s running across the field. And they picked up an obelisk for free. Nobody even bothering to take the obelisk back. Fadi going more focused on the center or somewhere else than picking up his own obelisk. And this is the kind of things that we see as a reaction to being on the back foot on this arc. Once this arc goes more and more towards red, the less the folks in blue will figure out what's going on. They're going to be more desperate for it, and they will make bigger mistakes on the open field, and the Overlords are looking to capitalize on it. Overlords, so far, not able to make what I was talking about happen. The folks of White Tigers are no suckers. They know the play. They have seen this happen before. They have all their defenses on the buildings that matter lined up. They've gone tit for tat when it comes to obelisks and taken an obelisk back. This obelisk is very, very well defended, unlike the obelisk up here, which nobody really bothered to take back yet. Really, really weird thing going on right here. The Ark of Osiris is marching towards red, and it is marching quickly. It is hiding inside a cluster of marches. I believe it is getting beaten down though. And yes, it is slowly losing this arc. And now March is going back as they were targeting someone who is defeated. They're being sent back home. Another opportunity for the folks at OV to pick up this arc once again. Buildings trading hands, obelisk for obelisk, but the altars, my man, the altars going in favor of Overlords. Desert Altar going down in favor of Overlords. This is the kind of plays that they were hoping to make as the folks of White Tigers really, really try to do everything they can to hold on to this arc for dear life. With 20 minutes remaining and 5,000 point lead for the Overlords, this map is wide open and things can still flip around. There are 1,180 points per minute on the map. So we're still looking at another 22,000 points to be distributed in the next 20 minutes. This is plenty for either White Tigers or Overlords to potentially either get a much bigger lead or come back. But look at the map. The Overlords making the plays exactly like we mentioned on the cast. The folks of White Tigers got a little too distracted by that center, and the defenses started going around. People are trying to do what they can. Xenox, who we previously saw holding onto altars, we are seeing people from all over the place realizing he's out of position, potentially going back, but everybody going for this arc. All the altars are red. 2 of them waiting to tick for points for the folks of Overlords. The obelisks are traded back. Outposts in the favor of Overlord. My goodness. The White Tigers are just being swarmed from everywhere. There's a swarm in here in the Ark of Osiris. There are swarms on all the buildings. There are rallies coming up across everywhere. Statalizer trying to do everything he can to get the Sky Altar back, and he might even be successful. This is the correct play, as it is one of those altars that is ticking for points for the folks of Overlords versus these 2 who are not yet. That could slow down the momentum of the Overlords. But with this Ark of Osiris inching its way to the Shrine of War, what can the White Tigers do to stop this? One of them is trying to sneak away this Shrine of War. The guys in red will not fall for that play. And as much as it seems, it looks like White Tigers ran out of marches in the center. And this Ark is creeping its way back home. Now, we have previously seen a little bit of a delay tactic by the Overlords. This is when the delay tactic hits in full swing. As you can see, it is already marching its way away towards the obelisk. Now, this Ark of Osiris right here is pretty much the only way the folks of White Tigers can get themselves into a comeback situation, because they really have to close down this gap and they have to do it fast. If this Ark is delivered, however, there will be time for one more Ark to be sent, which means the White Tigers can focus on the points per minute game until the Ark is revealed and potentially go for a third Ark, which will be worth 4,000 points. Are the guys of Overlords going to deliver this Ark? It seems like they're keen on it, and so they do. The timer resets 8 minutes and 15 seconds. White Tigers reacting well. They have taken two of their shrines back, two of their altars back. King Talib swarmed this thing and destroyed it, and so did King of Armenia. What a pair, a duo combo of mayhem. But again, these buildings now will take 3 long minutes till they give the White Tigers some points. And unfortunately for them, the Overlords altars are both ticking every second. Every 2 seconds, another point. White Tigers, what do you do right now? You are about 8,800 points behind and an astonishing 450 points per minute worth of a difference in the points per minute game and 16 minutes remaining. With 7 minutes until the timer, it means that there will be 9 minutes to carry the next Ark, which means it's going to have to go, and it's going to have to go fast. That'll bring the White Tigers up to 21,000 points, which if they do get this Ark. However, they are going to take a substantial amount of time to get there. It'll take 7 long minutes until the Ark pops up. And in 7 minutes, the guys of OV are going to make 410 times 7 points, which is 2,870 extra points that the folks in White Tigers are going to have to be able to close the gap. Is there time? Is there anything that can be done for the White Tigers? With 15 minutes remaining and 1,180 points on the map, there is a very slight possibility still for the White Tigers to come back, hold strong, and get their provisions game going. I am very much hopeful that the head of strategy of the White Tigers changed his mind when it comes to provisions, and that the White Tigers are gathering, because we have seen the likes of JWM and the likes of DSP gathering over 7,000 points in provisions over a map. And so that is the kinds of points the White Tigers need right now. Hopefully the White Tigers are aware and taking into account those provisions, or else things might look very, very bad. Marcus says, I am proud to say I am from OV. The guys of OV are definitely putting up a show. The Overlords are really a very, very, very surprising how would I say it? A very surprising dark horse that I had heard about before, but never really thought they were that good. And I love, with every single cast, to eat my previous opinion up and realize how mistaken I was. Overlord are a massive Ark of Osiris map team, and boy oh boy, they are taking White Tigers for their money. A mixed march coming in by King Bob. I'm not entirely sure if, no, it's not a mixed match. These are full range. It's just the different types of range. One is on horses, the other one isn't. Okay, my bad. And so what do we do right now as White Tigers? Well, this obelisk shouldn't bother the White Tigers no more. This is practically just a distraction. If the folks of White Tigers, who, by the way, Autumn once again being a sneaky, and again taking an obelisk, this is just a distraction play. White Tigers need to keep their eye on the ball. And we're seeing it with Statanalyzer going for this Overlord's Sky Altar, Rally versus open field combat with a Constantine holding on and Marches coming in. I believe Chiskel Gaming also going for the Shrine of Life, but unsuccessful. A rally of 3 between Chiskel, what looks like King of Armenia, and who else we had here? Zeno and Christian. 4 members right here trying to get that Shrine of Life back. Overlords are not giving up for a second. These guys are sending rallies out. Desert Altar on the blue side, consistently turning over towards the Overlords, is really the story to tell on this match. As I mentioned to you guys in the beginning of the match, the map is a mirrored map. It is a exact mirrored map. And so defending a Desert Altar should be very, very easy for the side that has their obelisk near it, as just like you can see, it's very easy to get presence back onto the Desert Altar. The matter of the fact is, this Desert Altar exchanged hands more often than this one did. And every time, and as I say that, for the first time in a little while, White Tigers, bam, Desert Altar potentially going down. We'll see in a moment. There it is. It's kind of like Caster's Curse, right? You start saying one thing and it happens. The turnaround of altars by the White Tigers has been so much bigger that they weren't able to hold on to any altar for long enough from about the 40th minute mark. Early on, they had a massive, massive hold. But as soon as that first arc went down in favor of the Overlords and that second one brawl started, things looked really, really, really bad for the folks of White Tigers, who simply got a bit too complacent towards that arc and didn't give enough attention to the point per minute game. And as you can see on this cast, there is no 500 out of 500. We get right back into the action with 2 minutes and 25 seconds remaining for this arc. White Tigers really need it to do anything in this match, and they are doing everything they can, and they should right now. With 3 altars in their favor, the number one goal for them right now is to not lose a building that is giving them points. The Overlords right now trying to do their best to hold on to their last altar, but for White Tigers, defending their own altars is everything right now. If any of these altars that is ticking for points for the blue team, meaning this altar and this altar, go down, the likelihood of White Tigers coming back goes down drastically. Because for the first time in over 20 minutes, they are back in the points per minute lead. And with 10,000 points ahead, Overlords are not necessarily out of the woods yet. White Tigers are leading by only 70 points per minute, which isn't enough. They're going to need much, much more. To make things worse, the third altar they picked up, the Desert Altar, goes back in favor of OV. This is what we talked about defending your own Desert Altar. It is much easier to turn it around in your favor, as you can get much faster into this Desert Altar. It's why the White Tigers haven't been able to hold on to it for that long. However, the turnaround on the other Desert Altar is a real killer for the Tigers. And to make matters worse, Sky Altar being rallied, marches all over the place, King of Armenia marching towards what looks to be the Shrine of Life. Boy, oh boy, are we watching the end of Tigers? Remind you guys that, for the record, any of you who bet on the White Tigers, you did not lose all your coins. You get half of the coins back. So even though you guys might have lost your bet, it is not necessarily over. However, we will not allow Indo Mighty Pro type of behavior. You will not disrespect any of these alliances on our chat. These two teams gave everything they had for this match. And so, yes sir, let's get rid of all of these bad comments. It is not about that. This is it's not about this, guys. Let's not go down that path. The total end of Tigers after they will be falling apart. One of the things we do know is a few of these folks will be leaving White Tigers after this Osiris League. Is that what made them get to this point? We will not know. But what we do know is John Wick John Wick is marching with that Ark. He has a wall behind him. There are marches near him. There are no tigers anywhere nearby. Are we witnessing the end of the white tigers? And are we witnessing the potential massive Auric gain by a few folks, while some losses by majority of the community? Remind you, 3 more matches for you guys to bet and get your money back, get your Oryx back, and get yourselves the rewards you would like. You only lose half of your Oryx off the bet, so all is good. Everything will be okay. You will still have time to get through and make it going. I only have trash talk for Gecko, and I only have a timeout for you. Goodbye. I love being a troll. Anyway, 2 altars in the favor of white tigers, 2 altars in the favor of overlords. Is it time to call it? I think so. I think it is time to call it. With 7 minutes remaining, white tigers definitely have the point per minute lead. White tigers definitely have everything to lose right now, but they are not in control of the most important thing right now, the Ark of Osiris. And my goodness, 7 minutes and 25 seconds remaining. It is time, ladies and gentlemen, I believe, for us to say a big GG to the folks of white tigers, because this Ark, maybe not. Zenobia looking to come around. Are we going to call it 7 minutes early? Let's not, because truthfully, there is still time. 4,000 points on this Ark, and then provisions coming in could be a nice little clutch. It could be a nice little clutch for white tigers. There's still a little bit of time. 9,000 point difference, 4,000 points on this Ark, and then an extra 5,000 of provisions could still happen. In my opinion, it is GG in favor of overlords, but you never know. We will not cave and fall for temptation to call it GG. But those of you who believe, let's make sure we give a big shout out to both sides for an unbelievable map. What an unbelievable event. What an unbelievable turn of events, ladies and gentlemen. The overlords once again proving that they are the dark horse that the community does not have faith in, but they keep coming back again and again and again. Sticky, I can be as optimistic as I'd like. The whole point is for us to stay a little positive, try to see how we can get through with this, or you want me to just stay here for 5 minutes and do nothing. I don't think that's a cool thing. We're just going to try to stay optimistic. The likelihood of them coming back is pretty much non-existent. I very much believe that the folks of OV have this, especially now that they delivered the Ark. It is this time in which I also say major GG to the folks of white tigers, and of course the winners of this match, the overlords. What an amazing match. Gecko, I think Overlord will win League. Do you, Kira? I think there's going to be a very interesting final. And I would say that maybe we're going to see an upset on the next match as well. You never know. But there are 4 very strong teams remaining. NB2, 1 NB8, apparently the Overlords, and JWM. Those of you who don't know what the matches are for next round, NB2 will be facing Overlords, while 1 NB8 will be facing JWM. That is next week. It was over when John Wick entered the arena. I tend to agree, but again, with so much time remaining, we do want to give a little extra credit and a little extra oomph to the team that is behind, even though it was very much over, I believe, way before that even third Ark came out. It is still very important to keep up with the match, make sure that we don't drift away, you know. Let's watch this till the end. Let's see the stats. Let's see what we can get out of this. And, you know, we do want to be here to give a huge congratulations to the OV folks when the win is here, right? Right now, they cannot see you guys spamming those GGs, but when the match ends, they can. And so I encourage you to stick around till the end of the match, and then we will spam the GGs so the overlords can come in and watch. And those of you from their alliance in here, let the team know to come in here and see the sea of GGs that will be within 4 minutes. Keep those for then, ladies and gentlemen. You are breathtaking. Am I? You mean I'm getting out of breath? Whoo! Thank you, Chris. My goodness, I've talked for 50 more, an hour and some minutes straight. Not that I have an issue with that. I've done it for 5 hours plus, but man, oh man, this was an awesome match to cast. It is very weird. It is very weird to see the folks of White Tigers getting taken out like this. And we always have a little bit of a question mark about these things. But I have to say, the Overlords are so impressive. Slody was always everywhere, in the center, in the left, on rallies, reinforcing. They were always everywhere. Slody now leading a rally. He's the guy who was holding the Ark earlier. Overlord seemed to have such a solid division of roles that I think that it's one of those alliances that we have so much to learn from. It's crazy. Folks, if you guys enjoy the cast, make sure you're slapping a like on it before you leave. And if you enjoy it even further and want to give a shout out to all the content creators who are involved in this, our links are in the description down below. Go into the channels, myself, Dragothian, and Chisco Gaming. Slap a subscribe on the channels. Go say hi on one of the comment sections. Everybody's worked hard to make this Ark cast happen. And so even though I'm alone here, my two co-partners deserve a big shout out. Even Chisco, who right now is having a really tough time with this loss, he was still massively influential in our cast. So major GGs for everybody. And of course, thank you to all the content creators for this awesome thing that we're putting up together. With that being said, what's left to say? White Tigers take an obelisk at the end, sort of like a consolation prize. Nothing more. There's nothing more to do. Just to wait for the 1 minute and 46 seconds to end. And when that happens, we are going to send some GGs for the folks of OV. Make sure that they're in here. Folks of OV who are in the chat, let your team know. We want them here to see the sea of GGs that are going to come. 771 beautiful viewers in here. I hope you guys enjoyed the cast. I've barely seen any marches from T the whole game. I think members let them pay for announcing letting their server go down. I'm gonna take Andreas. No need for all that. I understand your sentiment, but there's no need to put out the negativity, my friend. Quack. One day you'll be a big boy. And you'll learn what it's like to make videos and make content. It's not as simple as you think. And if it was so simple, what are you doing with your life? Why are you not getting all the rewards from Lilith? Do yourself a favor. Enjoy the timeout and come back next match. With a little better attitude, maybe. Good game. 35 seconds remaining. Thank you very much, Poon. Appreciate the kind words. Content creators are not professionals after all. We definitely are not. But for folks like myself and Dragothian and Chisco, who have been casting Ark of Osiris for so long, over 100 matches casted in Ark of Osiris, a lot of us have insights from inside the open field. But I can guarantee to you, I understand and can talk Ark of Osiris more than I can play it, because I always cast. I never get a chance to play. One day, the dream will be real, and we'll get back to playing Ark of Osiris's GG's Overlords. Let's get that GG spam in the chat right now. Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations to Slody. We just called him out. Almost 200,000 individual points in the Overlord Alliance. Make it to the next stage. White Tigers showing some provisioning in here, but they lost the two major parts of the Ark of Osiris. Ark of Osiris score and occupation score were indeed in the favor of the Overlords. I mean, units healed by White Tigers goes to show they really went in and did everything they could. The Overlords with 11 million heals, that is not a usual thing. 11 million is a huge amount. They were going all out and making sure they are able to win this match. 202 points in provision score might be a problem for Overlords in future matches, but for now they were so well in the lead in every other aspect. Kingdom 52 against Kingdom 39. GG's for both teams. What an unbelievable match. I am truly speechless as to how fun this match was to cast. Now you guys had a little bit of a quiet moment as I had to flip things around. We got to get back to the stand-up position. And to do that, you guys will see how all that works in the behind the scenes video we got cooking up for you guys. Again, major shout out to both the folks of White Tigers as well as the Overlord who clutched the win. That GG spam looking fantastic by you folks. What an unbelievable match. Major props for both alliances. And yeah, what else can be said? One final thought here. We're looking at more occupations by White Tigers. However, holding on to those occupations was much harder for them than for Overlord. Let's go back to my living room standing up and go through a final goodbye. How about that? And so it ends. Another day of casting. Congratulations to the folks of Overlord and major GGs to the folks of White Tiger. That was a fantastic match. Thank you guys very much for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed this solo cast. I apologize once again for what happened earlier today. It was completely unplanned for, and trust me when I tell you, I feel worse about it than you think. For me, being here in front of you awesome people means the world, and the fact that we had a little bit of issues in the early stages of today it wasn't pretty, but hopefully we'll do better next time around. Until the next time next week, 4 teams, 2 matches, big boys, NB2 against the Overlords and White Tigers, and JWM against 1 NB8. 1 NB8 knocking out NB1, the big alliance of that kingdom. NB2 taking out IKM. JWM taking out DSP, and now the folks of Overlord taking out the White Tigers. Thank you guys very much for being part of this cast. Don't forget to drop a like, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Peace.